Batman, I have a question. Would you support a $50 minimum wage in California?
50 per hour?
Yes.
That sounds good to Batman.
I'm not sure. That seems really high.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying, but everyone here seems to think, they're like, yeah, let's go for it. They're like,
You need infrastructure for businesses to help support that, right?
Yes.
Sign a waiver to be on your camera.
what do we think about a $50 minimum wage in California?
That's crazy.
$15, oh man, that's good. It's great. $15 is, I think it helped a lot. Right now, everything is expensive, so.
How are small businesses going to survive under this?
Government assistance.
Sarah Stock for Rebel News, reporting from Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles, California, where the minimum wage is $16 an hour, but set to rise to $20 per hour as of April 1st. Now, to put that into perspective for our Canadian viewership, $20 USD amounts to roughly 27 Canadian dollars. Now, as minimum wage continues to rise in California, fast food chains are having to up their prices, with McDonald's now charging $18 for a Big Mac combo. Who knows, maybe Californians will soon be forced to cook healthier meals and run the fast food industry in the state out of business. Not only will this policy ruin In-N-Out for consumers, but it is very likely to crush small businesses as well. As if the jump to $20 wasn't enough, just the other week, Congressman Barbara Lee, representative of Oakland, championed an outrageous proposal to raise the federal minimum wage to $50 per hour as part of her bid for U.S. Senate. You heard that right, $50 an hour. A wage that would mean teenagers would be making six-figure salaries just for flipping burgers.
For a minimum wage between $20 and $25 an hour. You're calling for a $50 an hour federal minimum wage. That's 7 times the current national minimum wage of $7.25 an hour. Can you explain how that would be economically sustainable for small businesses? You have 60 seconds.
First, let me say I owned and ran a small business for 11 years. I created hundreds of jobs, benefits, retirement benefits, also health care benefits. I know what worker productivity means, and that means that you have to make sure that your employees are taken care of and have a living wage. In the Bay Area, I believe it was the United Way, came out with a report that very recently, $127,000 for a family of 4 is just barely enough to get by.
It kind of makes you wonder, does Miss Barbara Lee have a similar learning disability to Justin Trudeau, which he has stated prevents him from doing basic math?
I have a little confession to make. I have a slight learning disability. I am dysnumeric. What that means is I have an inability to handle small numbers and little calculations, those easy things that people do so well. 13 plus 14. 27. Under pressure, it's even worse.
I would like to believe that most LA residents would see the holes in this $50 minimum wage proposal, but let's go hear from them themselves and find out. Would you support a $50 minimum wage in California?
A $50 minimum wage was better than what people been getting before, right? They've been getting like $5, $6, $11 minimum wages before.
Minimum wage is $16.
Well, $50 is really good then.
Batman, I have a question. Would you support a $50 minimum wage in California?
50 per hour?
Yes.
That sounds good to Batman.
I'm not sure. That seems really high.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying, but everyone here seems to think, they're like, yeah, let's go for it. They're like,
You need infrastructure for businesses to help support that, right?
Yes.
Sign a waiver to be on your camera.
no, it's completely legal to film in public.
No, that's way too high.
Way too high?
Minimum like 25. 25 be good. 50, I think people would go crazy.
So this lady is committing the 3rd act of public indecency that I've seen today here in LA. Number 1, a woman without pants or underwear near UCLA. Number 2, here on Hollywood Boulevard, we saw a man with, once again, his penis out. And the 3rd time we see this woman back here, and she has been rubbing parts of her body in public and yelling things about God. So What do we think about a $50 minimum wage in California?
That's crazy.
$15, oh man, that's good. It's great. $15 is, I think it helped a lot. Right now, everything is expensive, so.
We need a $50 minimum wage because the cost of living is insane in California and it is unstable. And it also would help with our homelessness issue because there are all these people out on the streets for no reason because there are like 28 homes for every one person out here, which is insane. So I think raising the minimum wage would also help people be able to actually live and afford food and groceries and just living in general. And no, it wouldn't cause all that because that is California standard. I think that would make our everything, I keep forgetting the word, the living match up. So for each state, they would have to calculate their own, but for California, it makes sense.
At least 25.
Okay, 25?
At least.
I'm down with 25. 25.
Not 50.
I would never argue against 50.
So I got a little bit hungry and I went to McDonald's and I got a cheeseburger. So I'm looking at this price and it's over $5 US for this cheeseburger, which amounts to $7 with the exchange rate and the Canadian dollar. Look at this just look at how thin that patty is. 7 Canadian dollars. I'm thinking you're probably earning about $16 if you work at McDonald's in Canada. And so in order to afford a California little baby cheeseburger, you would have to work for half an hour at a McDonald's. There you go, guys. What would you think about a $50 minimum wage in California?
I think that's probably way too high. Sounds ridiculous to me. And it would bankrupt a lot of not just small businesses, but probably all businesses. And it's just the way economic works. It wouldn't be feasible, it wouldn't be logical. And I think every politician everywhere needs to take an economics course.
Like, what about small businesses? How are they going to pay their employees?
Well, they just better have good food then.
How expensive is their food going to have to be?
Well, let's just put it this way. Listen, everybody got to get paid something for what they're doing, right? $50, $25. Bottom line, though, is that if you can give a person $50, then that'd be $50.
How are small businesses going to survive under this?
Government assistance.
So, do you agree, like, if we make the minimum wage higher, though, $50 like they're suggesting, do you think the price of everything would go higher, too?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, 100% yes.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, so it's not a good idea.
No, I don't think so.
What do you think about the minimum wage being raised to $20 an hour in April?
I think that's already too high. The minimum wage, it's a tough one, but it's an agreement between two people, and politics getting involved in business just makes it harder for businesses. As we all know, in California, it's tough to survive here, let alone just thrive here. So we need something like a more happier medium. 20 is already too high. Cost of living is way too much. That just raises prices of everything. So probably not a good idea.
The problem is wages have not kept up with inflation, right? So when I say practical, I mean let's hurry up and catch up with the past 50 years of inflation. However, $50 absolutely is practical for LA. Have you eaten lately?
Yeah, I just had it.
Rent on the first lately, like, it's not really impractical. It's just a big ask.
Well, it's been an eventful night here on Hollywood Boulevard. It certainly lives up to its reputation, and we got a variety of opinions, but it does seem like the $50 minimum wage isn't so crazy to everybody. If you would like to support our work and get more boots on the ground coverage like this, please head over to rebelfieldreports.com where you can make a donation. Thank you so much. This is Sarah Stock for Rebel News.